Okay, picture this. You're in the middle of writing what could be your best verse ever. The flow is perfect, the concept of the song is unique, but as you reach for that word that could elevate your bars from good to legendary, your mind goes blank. So you settle. You use the same words you always use, the same verbs, the same go-to phrases, the same transitions that you recycled over the last 10 verses. And just like that, what could have been a breakthrough moment for you becomes just another average verse. It's one of the most common barriers between good rappers and legendary ones: vocabulary limitation. Think about it. The reason to triple your rap vocabulary is very clear. The more words you have in your arsenal, the easier it is to convey complex ideas, paint vivid images, and also to stand out amongst thousands of other rappers that are fighting for attention. The problem is we try to expand our vocabulary through passive means, reading more dictionary apps, studying other rappers. These approaches work, but they're slow and inefficient. It's like trying to fill a swimming pool with a garden hose. What we need is a systematic approach, a deliberate strategic method designed specifically for rappers to help them acquire and deploy new vocabulary in their writing. So let's call it the word arsenal method. And over the next 30 days, it will transform not just how many words you know, but how you use them to craft standout verses that capture attention and showcase your unique voice. So let's break down exactly how to do it. Getting straight into it, days 1 to 5. Conduct your vocabulary audit. The first phase isn't about adding new words, it's about honestly assessing your current patterns. Most rappers have never objectively analyzed their existing vocabulary, so they don't know their baseline or their specific limitations. You can't target what you haven't measured. First thing you're going to do is you're going to gather all the lyrics from your last 10 verses. Hopefully you wrote them on a notes app or just whatever lyrics you've got on your phone. Then you're going to go onto Google search and you're going to type in word frequency analyzer. I'll leave a link for a website that I've used for this in the description. But yeah, you type in word frequency analyzer and then you're going to paste these 10 verses into this word frequency analyzer, right? And this should showcase which words you currently overuse in your verses, you know, your obvious vocabulary traps. And then once you've pasted these words, you're going to put them into 5 categories. So the first category will be action verbs. Examples include move, flow, spit. Descriptors: cold, deep, raw. Linking terms: like, as, when. Abstract concepts: dreams, truth, time. Concrete nouns: mic, street, hand. What you should typically discover is a severe imbalance. Most rappers over-index in certain areas while completely neglecting others. For example, some are heavy on abstract concepts but light on precise action verbs, creating verses that feel philosophical but not dynamic. The final audit step is your synonym test. So you're going to take your top 20 most used words and you're going to try and list 5 synonyms for each without using a thesaurus. If you struggle, then you've identified clear expansion points. This audit creates your vocabulary expansion blueprint, a personalized map on how to expand your vocabulary using your actual patterns as opposed to just some random list of words that you found on the internet. The psychological impact of this audit is powerful. You actually visually see the ruts that your writing has been stuck in. The same verbs, the same descriptors, the same go-to phrases. It's like you've been writing the same verse 50 different ways instead of 50 different verses. Days 6 to 10, build your functional word categories. The second phase addresses the most common vocabulary limitation: disorganized acquisition. When you're in the middle of writing, in the flow of writing, or you're freestyling, your brain hasn't got time to search through an unstructured mass of vocabulary and mass of words. It just goes to the default options. This is why you find yourself repeatedly using the same words. Instead, what we can implement is categorical collection. So organize new vocabulary into functional groups specifically designed for lyrical application. So the 5 categories are: category 1, power verbs, action words that create movement and energy. Demolish, ignite, penetrate. Sensory descriptors, terms that evoke specific sensations. Examples include scorching, thunderous, silky. Category 3, transition phrases, so unique ways to connect ideas. Shifting perspective, beneath the surface, despite the obstacles. Category 4, concept expanders, abstract terms that elevate your themes. Epiphany, paradigm, resonance. Last category, world builders, concrete nouns that create vivid settings. Examples: labyrinth, podium, machinery. So now for each category, you're going to identify your 10 most overused words, and now you're allowed to use thesauruses or, you know, analysis of your favorite rappers, whatever tool you want to use. You're going to identify 5 new words for each for each overused terms, which will give you 50 words per category or 250 new words to work with. The key insight is to not just list these new words when you're acquiring them. You actually want to identify common patterns. So for example, if you overuse the word kill in your verses, you're constantly using the word kill, your power verbs list, for example, because kill is like a power verb, it's a verb, it's an action word. Your power verb list should connect clear alternatives. So annihilate, decimate, obliterate. This should create mental frameworks that make accessing new vocabulary during writing session effortless, a lot easier, right? When I started doing this myself, within like 5 days of doing this, I saw like a huge reduction on how often I fell back on my default vocabulary. I was actually finding it easier to use new words during writing sessions. It's that the words weren't just in my knowledge base now at the back of my head, they were actually readily accessible during the creation process, during the writing process when I needed them. Okay, so days 11 to 20, you're going to now implement deployment drills. The third phase addresses the critical gap between knowing words and using them effectively in your verses. Now that we've gathered all these words, we're going to train our brains to actually use them, right? Automatically, the same way you use the words that you currently use in your current rap vocabulary. So a good place to start is with the foundation drill. So you're going to choose one new word from each of your 5 categories, so your power verbs, your descriptors, all the categories that we just went through, and you're going to write a 4-bar verse that utilizes all these words coherently, and you're going to do this every morning. Next is another simple drill. It's just a replacement exercise. So you're going to go over your last 10 verses. You're going to identify from each verse the 10 weakest or most overused words, and then you're going to replace them using some of the new words that you've learned from the 5 category exercises that we did earlier. And this should train your editorial eye, spotting new vocabulary opportunities in your natural writing. Crucial practice is what I call speed deployment. So you're going to put on an instrumental, set a 60-second timer on the side. You're going to pick a new word from your arsenal, then you're going to practice freestyling while incorporating that word for 60 seconds. Then after that 60 seconds is done, you're going to pick another word and then do that for 60 seconds. Do this for 10 rounds, so 10 minutes and 10 new words. You're going to be practicing implementing 10 new words into your freestyling, 1 word at a time for 60 seconds, 10 rounds. And you can imagine how essential this is for both writing sessions and of course freestyle sessions, you know, when it comes to using new vocabulary in those kind of environments, those kind of situations. The most advanced drill is concept mapping. So you're gonna pick a theme for a potential verse: ambition, betrayal, growth. And then for each word, you're gonna pick 10 new words from your arsenal that can express different aspects of this theme. This trains thematic vocabulary deployment, ensuring that your word choices reinforce your intended message. When practiced daily for just 20 to 30 minutes, these deployment drills create what psychologists call automaticity, the ability to access new vocabulary without conscious effort. So words move from your theoretical knowledge to your working toolkit. Putting it another way, it's like the words are actually available when you need them, not just when you're studying them. Days 21 to 30, master contextual acquisition. So this is the last phase now. The last phase accelerates your vocabulary growth, right, through strategic immersion, right, and targeted collection. Most of us try to expand the vocabulary through generic sources. Random reading, word of the day app, standard thesauruses. These approaches don't work very well because they're not tailored towards lyrical application or your specific style. Contextual acquisition flips the script by sourcing new vocabulary from sources relevant to your style and your specific message. Start with specialized source mining. So identify 3 domains that align with your topic and your themes. So if you rap about psychological struggles, sources might include psychology articles, therapy books, and mental health forums. If your content is politically charged, sources might include political theory, activist literature, and historical speeches, for example. For each domain, extract 10 powerful terms that could enhance your existing themes. Don't just write the words down, note in which context they use, ensuring you understand their precise application. Next, implement rapper vocabulary analysis. So you're going to pick 3 rappers whose vocabulary or rap style you admire, but who are 3 distinct styles. So it's not the same style, it's 3 distinct styles, but it's 3 rappers you admire. For each artist, identify vocabulary patterns you can adapt to your style without imitation. This might be their use of visual descriptors, emotional terminology, or technical language. The advanced practice is vocabulary tracking. Carry a small notebook or use a phone app to capture powerful words you encounter in daily life, conversations, advertisements, speeches, etc. Set a minimum target of capturing 5 new words per day from real-world context. As you acquire each new word, try and come up with just 3 bars utilizing each. This will actually move the vocabulary from just theoretical knowledge into something that you can implement. It will actually become a part of your rap vocabulary a lot quicker. When combined with the previous phases, the 30-day word arsenal method doesn't just triple the size of your vocabulary, it triples your effective vocabulary, the words you can actually deploy in your verses when it matters. The result isn't just more impressive lyrics, it's more precise expression, more vivid imagery, more unique perspective, more memorable lines, and more you in your music. If you feel like your lyrics suck, you're just forgetting these fundamental vocabulary development principles. Master the method and you never struggle to find the perfect word again. Words aren't just the building blocks of your verses, they're the colors on your artistic palette. The more options you have, the more you can paint your vision. And that is essentially the 30-day word arsenal method. Now, this is a 30-day process, so if you want it broken down into a simple, easy to follow method so that you don't forget as soon as you click off this video, then I've got a PDF that you can grab. Link will be in the description. Now, go build your vocabulary system. Your perfect verse is waiting for those perfect words. Let's go. Before I go, big thank you to all my subscribers. Channel won't be here without you. With all that being said, see you in the next video. Peace.